Hello guys, welcome to another video of Reinaldo chess lesson. Today we are going to do a recap about the candidate tournaments in 2020. Remember, this tournament is a 8-player chess double round robin tournament to decide the challenger for the world title. The winner will win the right to challenge the defending world champion, Magnus Carlsen. So the first half of this tournament was played in Yekaterinburg in Russia. This was suspended because of the pandemic due to the COVID-19, with Jan Nepomniachtchi and Maxime Bachir-Lagrey sharing the lead. The second half part of the tournament will be played between April 19 to 28. So, to do the recap, we are going to cover one of the most important rounds of this of the first half of the tournament. This was the round number 7. Played between Maxime Bachir-Lagrey with white and Jan Nepomniachtchi with black. Really, Jan at that moment was leading in the tournament by 1 point, and Maxime was in a kind of must-win situation because he had white pieces, and for sure, winning that game, he could tie in the first place, waiting for the moment where the tournament is going to be retained. So let's start with this. Maxime is a E4 player. Normally in his games, he opened the game in this way. And Nepo, that usually he played the Knight of Sicilian. For this tournament, he was showing with black, like a refresh in his repertoire, using the French defense. In a previous round of the same tournament, he played the French against another Russian grandmaster who is participating in the tournament, Alexeyenko Kirill. And that game ends in a draw. So Maxime followed the same game until some point, and later deviating with his own specific preparation. So let's see. D4, D5, Knight C3, Bishop B4. So we have in our variation of the French defense. E5, C5, A3 takes, Knight E7. And here Maxime followed the variant that Alexeyenko used, that was H4. Normally, the idea of this is just push the pawn quick and try to provoke this structure, creating a lot of weakness along around the data squares. So the other alternative, main theoretical variant, would be Queen G4, attacking on G7, but really that positions are much more difficult. This variant is really more positional and slow. So Queen C7, H5, White is ready to get the A6 square, and Black cannot allow that. In the game, played some rounds before, specifically in round number 3, Alexeyenko continued with Knight F3. This move really is very normal, but probably not too flexible like H5, because with H5, White still preserves some options to go with the queen to G4. But in that game between Nepo and Alexeyenko, Nepo continued with B6 to trade the bad bishop that is blocked by the pawn chain. And now here White did Bishop B5. That is really a very clever move. The idea of this check is just deflect this bishop. If Black blocked the check with the knight, basically it's going to lose the support to play Bishop A6 anyway. So Bishop D7, Bishop E2, now Bishop A4. As the bishop wouldn't betray, using this diagonal, now Black decides to activate the bishop, pressing the pawn on C2 that is exposed in the potential semi-open file. So castle Knight D7, Bishop E3, after A6, Rook A2, and the position is balanced, extremely complex. Bishop pay for White, but the character of the position is more close and open, so the knights are really doing very well. Any result is open. But, okay, in the game, instead of Knight F3, Maxime prepared this line, H5. Black cannot allow in any circumstance that the pawn gets H6. So H6, Rook B1, and finally B6. Same idea, looking for Bishop A6 to trade the bad bishop. And now we have here Queen G4, intermediate move, attacking on G7, Rook G8, and finally Bishop B5. This is exactly the same idea that Alexeyenko used in his game, just to deflect the bishop. But in this case, Nepo moved the king to F8, because without block, now the bishop still have the possibility to do this maneuver, looking for B3. So Bishop D3. Yeah, this is a a necessary recruitment because otherwise black can play c4, leaving the bishop overexpanded. So bishop a6, d takes c5. The owner of the bishop pair normally would like to open the position, and after bishop takes, pawn takes, now 97. This move is really quite strong. Black is trying to accelerate development, allowing the capture of this pawn because in that way, black can open a lot the position. This pawn is hanging, but the dark square bishop is not too active because of the central pawn. So that capture of the pawn really can help white to activate the bishop using the dark square, removing the main blocker that will be the central pawn. So for that reason, Nepo did 97. Now d4. So white is not interested in the capture of this pawn because later black can press c3 and a3 simultaneously with a very difficult position. So he did d4, pawn takes, and now queen d1. This is probably one of the best moves of this game. Really, the mission of the queen was accomplished, the forcing this small coordination of the pieces on the king side. Now, with that work done, the queen come back looking for being more centralized. Also, some moves like knight f3 and knight e2 instead of queen d1 are possible, but the queen will be probably out of the game in that moment. So, queen d1, queen a5, attacking on c3, normal developed move, rook b8, knight e2. White is just keeping the development. The game is easier because white will be able to connect the major pieces. All the time, the king on fa is represents a trouble for black, generally speaking. So here, Nepo did c4, what really somehow makes sense because he have the knights, but at the same time, he should keep probably some flexibility because now with the center completely closed, white can start to think in get some rupture points on the keys with some g4, f4, f5. That attack can be very powerful, and that is exactly what Maxime did in the game. Let's see. Short castle. The rook is already supporting a potential advance of the pawn to get the rupture point. Rook b6, queen c2, connecting rooks, and rook to the corner. Well, the idea of the move is Nepo was thinking in start march with the king to later connect the rooks. But if he did that immediately, I mean, the queen can get the invasion square attacking the base of the pawn chain. So with this rook here, black can cover this square, preventing some queen a7, and later try to do the match with the king to the other flank. So, and also probably anticipating some possible rook points on f5. So a4. And now, also some move like f4 and g4 makes a lot of sense. But he did a4 first because Maxime was thinking in the possibility to improve his worst pieces, that is the dark square bishop. This is a thematic bishop maneuver to avoid the blocking of the central pawn. So king to e8, rook to b4, knight c6, and now another fantastic move by Maxime, f4. The knight was on e7, keeping f5 under control. So with this move, Maxime wants to highlight that now that square is weak again, and really he don't care about the exchange because after the capture and the recapture with the pawn, basically black is losing one of the best defenders of the kingside, that is this knight, and also really in the position there is no open files for the rook. So probably the minor pieces can be better even than the rooks due to the character of the position. I mean, after the capture on b4. So having the possibility to capture the exchange, Nepo refused that option and he came back to e7 to try to prevent the opening of the position by white getting the rook to the point. So rook fb1 is quite instructive how Maxime was playing in both flanks. F5, forcing white to take a decision like, capture en passant if he really wants to open. But okay, here there is still another rook to point available eventually. So he did rook b5, taking these outputs because the idea is open the diagonal for the dark square bishop. Queen a6, bishop c1. Maxime start with the maneuver. King f7, bishop a3. And finally, white trade his worst pieces. That is the dark square bishop. So, yeah, this game is fantastic. After king capture, finally g4, as the knight was supporting the square on f5. Now this pawn break is really quite strong. Takes, takes, takes. Yeah, here basically looks like a white kind of sacrifice a pawn. Well, really not, but it's allowing the creation of an outside pass pawn. So in the endgame, black should be better because of the outside pass pawn. But remember, God has placed the middle game before the endgame, and the queens are still on the board. So now takes, and here another very strong move, knight g3. So this is the idea is take with the less valuable pieces, attack the base, get the outputs. Quite strong. Queen b6, offering the queen trade because to the outside pass pawn, black have very good chance, but white shouldn't trade queens. Check, king to f8 to square away of the knight, queen a1. The queen is looking for the a3 square, queen e6, attacking the knight, and now knight g3. Really, this one looks very scary because looks like black have a lot of invasion squares close to the king. But probably one of the best ways to prevent any check of the queen is just place your king together with the knight. The knight can prevent a lot of checks with the queen, and eventually the queen will be without checks, and that is exactly what happened in the game. So queen g4, king g2, Nepo took on f4, and now after the capture on a7, the position start to collapse, the knight is hanging. Here, in case of queen d2 check, king h3, and no more checks for black. So king e7, defending the knight, check, and finally queen d6, pinning the knight, attacking the base, white is ready to push eventually. So g5, this is just desperation. And now after g7, finally Nepo decides to resign. So well, is a brief recap about the most important game of the first half of the candidate tournament. Remember, this will be retake very soon, in about 6 days, more or less. So I hope you enjoy the analysis and the comments of this game. If you have any suggestion, please leave in the comment. Thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in a new video. Bye.